Concern that the Bollywood actress is the subject of racist bullying today reached Prime Minister's question time.
You might be some princess in fucking Neverland, but I don't give a shit. You're not no fucking princess here. You're a normal housemate like everybody else.
Well, the reaction here in Mumbai, the Indian film industry's capital, is one of outrage.
Those three young women are witches with a capital B.
You need elocution classes. You need a day in the slums.
I think she should fuck off home.
In the brief history of reality television, controversy has evidently accumulated desirable amounts of attention for successful and thought-provoking programming. Supposed reflections of non-fictional scenarios operate as a spectacle of how society operates from an observational perspective. In the early days when reality television was notably more experimental, concepts like racial discrimination caught the attentions of viewers worldwide, and those enraged made their emotions clear. In 2007, at the height of Big Brother's popularity, the Celebrity Edition became an incredibly divisive, shameful, and awakening discourse when thousands made complaints to Channel 4 of racist bullying towards Bollywood actress Shilpa Shetty.
Hi, I'm Shilpa Shetty. I'm an Indian film actress and lucky enough to be one of the most well-known film actors in Indian cinema.
In this particular instance, what provoked empathy and frustration from the viewing masses was the subtle behaviour from housemates towards the Indian woman. Apart from the central outburst between Shilpa Shetty and Jade Goody, it was sly comments and malicious gossip that indicated to viewers that the foreign celebrity was unfairly isolated by the white female celebrity housemates. The actions of the accused racially discriminatory housemates fed into the types of behaviours that tend to normalise or even romanticise the attitude that someone is inferior because of their ethnic background. Did the production team acknowledge how much of an impact the series had? Did they tackle this issue responsibly? And was this dispute a saddeningly accurate portrayal of British culture in the mid-2000s?
10:22 a.m.
In a real-life setting where television cameras are not present, conduct that intends to cause harm to another race is not dealt with in a fair, confined, or safe manner. Big Brother's structure allowed for an opportunity to reprimand the perpetrators in the series and to explain to them how their words and actions were hurtful, unnecessary, and triggered memories of traumatic abuse from within the viewers' own lives. Since the housemates were unaware of the complaints and protests on the outside world, a clear decision was made to inform them of their controversies during a live interview following their eviction where they could respond honestly to their accusations of xenophobia. Raw, authentic reactions to the backlash from these female celebrities indicated multiple variations one may resort to when being caught out on some form of harassment and discrimination. This can range from a defensive attitude denying their guilt to immediate apologies in fear of what additional repercussions are yet to come.
I'm not a racist, and I sincerely, with my hand on my heart, apologise to anybody that I've offended out there, including using here, that was not meant in the way that it was shown. It was nothing to do with editing, because you can't edit me to look like something if I'm not.
Yeah, and the manner.
But that was not my argument.
No, but you were complicit in that argument because you didn't help
because
or
my
stop
nerves were
or say,
bad.
no, look, that's out of order.
Well, I don't know what to say to that.
The isolated setting of Big Brother is designed for clashing personalities and for conflict to erupt among housemates, leading to engaging entertainment and substantial ratings. In order to understand how this particular dynamic accumulated of three privileged white women displaying their blatant hostility towards one individual of a separate ethnic background, we must understand and take into account who they are and their psychological points of view. Firstly, one of the main perpetrators was glamour model Danielle Lloyd.
Hi, I'm Danielle Lloyd.
As someone who had little to no experience with actual fame before entering the celebrity Big Brother house, her lack of discretion did not translate itself to the viewer whatsoever. Danielle's comments, mannerisms, and clear tendency to be easily influenced by others around her manufactured her portrayal of an overprivileged, cruel, and selfish young woman for the nation to see. Alongside Danielle, there was Joe O'Mara, known for being part of the late 90s pop group S Club 7.
Hi, I'm Joe O'Mara.
Jo had built up a career with a shiny, family-friendly image to base her music career around. When she entered the celebrity Big Brother house, it was clear she had let her guard down and let the viewing public gaze upon the uncensored and authentic version of herself. Unfortunately, the British public did not take too kindly to Jo's actions, such as engaging in spiteful gossip with other housemates about Shilpa, as well as mimicking her foreign accent. Finally on the list of celebrity Big Brother's prejudice trio was Jade Goody, upon whom the biggest amount of xenophobic actions fell. Before entering the Celebrity Big Brother house in 2007, Jade Goody was raised by poverty-stricken parents involved with addiction issues that played a big part of Jade's developmental growth as a child and teenager. However, later in life she rose to fame as a television personality and reality TV legend, and turned herself into a household name. Jade was shown to be the main instigator in the brawl that took place within the house, and was the most blatant in her dislike of Shilpa Shetty. Jade was shown to be curious about Shilpa's glamorous upbringing and her juxtaposition from herself, essentially based on class and society. One may argue this is where the line between jealousy and racism primarily intertwine, since Jade could have possessed preconceived notions that her own life was unnecessarily arduous, while Shilpa, according to her, had lived a life of ease and success filled with lavish benefits. Jade's actions were the main turning point, as to which Channel 4 had to take some kind of action and make a formal warning to Jade, focusing on how her words and actions could be perceived by the viewing public in regards to any racial discrimination. This choice made by the production team behind Big Brother was necessary for the team to acknowledge the strong response from their audience. However, this action did give Jade a hint of what kind of image of her that her behaviour had portrayed on the outside world. If Big Brother hadn't mentioned specific terminology in their warning, the tension in the house may have escalated even further.
Is that, do they do that in India, eat with the hands? Or is that in China? It's in India, isn't it?
I'm not sure, I don't like all that though.
I don't know where their things have been.
The context of Britain's historical background and how a viewer may witness abuse on television can trigger an emotional response in them, because they too are familiar with the same torment they once faced living as an exotic individual in Britain. In 1960, it was deemed a fundamental right for an Indian citizen to migrate to England under British law, inevitably resulting in a large influx of immigrants travelling to England, as their labour was now being facilitated by the British government. An immense amount of opposition was faced by Asian immigrants whilst navigating their way amongst the native population, in a time that was not too distant from when large-scale attacks were bestowed on minorities. Intolerant behaviour had erupted from British society. In 1968, Enoch Powell's Rivers of Blood speech expressed clear dissatisfaction of immigration within the United Kingdom, indicating that violence will be provoked if the number of non-native citizens continues to rise. This became evident with statements such as, "We must be mad, literally mad as a nation, to be permitting the annual inflow of some 50,000 dependents, who are for the most part the material of the future growth of the immigrant-descended population." Political figures advocating for the repatriation of non-native English citizens weren't going to soothe an understanding middle ground, where immigrants were to be treated with fairness and embraced in a multicultural community. It was evident that for certain individuals, an unshakable belief and superiority complex dominated any willingness to adapt to a modern acceptability for the sake of tranquility within society. Xenophobic tendencies often stem from the fear induced in someone dealing with an unanticipated cultural imposition and an inclination to not show empathy, thus leading to hateful actions towards minority. Big Brother provides a realistic setting, which is an excellent way to observe casual racism, which arguably is more relevant because of how it is more common than overt racism in our daily lives. Celebrity Big Brother was evidence to many viewers that a dichotomy was still present in British society, resulting from a racially fueled past.
I think she should fuck off home.
The production team behind Big Brother were under enormous amounts of scrutiny as a result of the brawl instigated by the different characters they had placed in the house. In the culmination of an entertaining season of Big Brother, it is standard to assemble a variety of many colourful and layered personalities that will more than likely cause friction within the house.
Who is she? Who is she? Who is she? Where did you find her?
In 2007, many viewers that tuned into the programme simply saw a woman who was exploited and unfairly persecuted on television for the sake of entertaining the masses. What irritated viewers from all nationalities about this season was how it seemed to be downplaying the appalling position that Shilpa Shetty was dealing with in the house. When the controversy erupted in India, alongside British viewers who felt that the programme was an unfair representation of the United Kingdom, there was an unavoidable tabloid frenzy focusing on the ignorant behaviour of Jade, Danielle and Joe. Following the media storm that was a widely debated topic on many platforms at this time, the incident was acknowledged on a political scale when Tony Blair was questioned and refused to comment about the specifics of the programme but condemned racism in all its forms. Eventually, Big Brother had to embrace the discourse within the series and address the problematic nature of the dynamics within the house. The production team made creative decisions that acknowledged the gravity of the situation. There needed to be a distinct change in the eviction process of this series of Big Brother, in contrast with its previous, to communicate to the audience that they had stumbled onto a circumstance that held much more of a significant connotation than they had intended to when the series went into production. The housemates were unaware of the media attention that was received by the programme until they were evicted. This particular choice is contentious because it meant that the actual tension-charged relationships could accelerate within the house. However, it also meant that the accused racist celebrities did not have some way to rebuild their image and somehow redeem themselves if they knew how they were being perceived on the outside world. It is possible that the team behind Big Brother could have had to deal with very shameful repercussions if they had attempted to excuse the actions of the white female celebrities or provide them with an avenue to defend their actions despite how spiteful they were.
Joe, I mean, are you going to say something here? I mean, what is happening here?
The three perpetrators in the series were placed in a very uncomfortable position by the programme when they were evicted, and the interview process, which normally consists of more light-hearted questions, became an interrogation of their ill-natured treatment of the Bollywood actress. This decision clearly put these women in an unnerving position. However, it was one of the ways to translate to the audience that they will suffer for their actions and words, and repercussions will take place for anyone who feels that they are superior to someone because of their ethnic background. This sequence of interviews proved to display the naive mindset of these women who expressed shock that people would show anger and disappointment over the likes of referring to the Indian actress as Shilpa Papadam, amongst other slander towards her cultural habits she displayed whilst in the house.
Shilpa Revios. I don't know if I can say her name. Shilpa Pakarada. I said last night Shilpa Papadam or something.
Funny little
Are you blaming me for the chicken?
The narrative behind this now infamous brawl had a conclusion that was eerily similar to the likes of a fairy tale, since Shilpa Shetty's victory of Celebrity Big Brother glorified her reputation as a strong, resilient and intelligent woman who had rightfully earned her spot as the winner. While Jo now had very little hope of rebuilding her career as a solo artist, Danielle became the target for violent altercations outside nightclubs, and Jade, who in an attempt to prove she had no racially fueled motivations, discovered whilst participating in India's version of Big Brother that she had cervical cancer, which led to her passing in 2009. The conclusion to this saga played out like a saddening but brutal tale of morality in relation to the harm that was caused on television.
Have you been home yet?
Can't go home.
Why can't you go home?
Because I've got difference.
My muscle was hanging out my leg, and I was just terrified at the thought that I wasn't going to live because there was really a lot of blood just coming out all over the place.
The benefit that resulted from this circumstance was the unavoidable influence on common behavioural patterns, where viewers analysed their own habits and tendencies in relation to their encounters with other ethnicities and backgrounds. For over a decade, there was nothing in the programme which came close in terms of magnitude to 2007's controversies, until 2018, when more feathers were ruffled, leading to thousands of complaints. This incident dealt with the false accusation of assault by actress Roxanne Pallett and her clear exaggeration of accounts. This scenario was fresh off the Me Too movement and was a spanner thrown into the works, as viewers felt that her actions had caused great offence and damage to real survivors of assault. Viewers of the programme were inevitably influenced and implemented adjustments to their day-to-day language and behaviour to prove that they were not going to fall into the same bracket as these ignorant women. Was the production team working for Channel 4 correct in their handling of an unexpectedly intricate series? The situation at hand had many conflicts and unanticipated layers to it. However, the production team behind Big Brother had carried out commendable efforts to enforce a constructive effect from this undesirable scenario. The conflict within the series was not unrelated to the culture in the United Kingdom, and Channel 4 took advantage of their platform to address the problematic nature of UK citizens and establish how xenophobia should not be tolerated in any form, removing class or status from any relevancy, and enforcing the notion of tolerance and empathy to the nation.
And what have you learnt from your time in the house?
Not to be such a bitch.
Good.